with your host, Easy, who I'm pretty sure is easier than me. Earmuffs, kids. Adults only. Just the way I like it.
And that means it's a a Tuesday at 10 o'clock at Lenny Melnick, FantasySports.com, Legend Sports Network. This is EEEZ Around the Table. And right now it's a small table. I got thumbs up, Doug. That must mean we have audio, even though I clicked the wrong button and had to restart one of them. But I hit too many streams.
I have this other thing I can listen to your audio for a second.
Good.
You're on, which I do for my show because it's like
getting better, right?
We've recorded 11 episodes, so it's 17 total, and I think we've never released 8 of them because the audio was so bad.
I'm over 100 now, and I still don't know what the hell I'm doing. But hey, that's all right. I can live with myself. That's all that matters. I can live with myself.
I feel like now I know what I'm doing.
Right now, you know what you're doing. You're getting there.
I know just enough.
I'm now the opposite. I've done it so many times that I assume everything. So, like I said last week, if you were listening to us on YouTube, the audio was a little goofy because I had the wrong microphone flipped for that. So that's my point. You don't test stuff after a while because you think, well, nobody messed with it. And then I realized I forgot I did something with my camera and it kicked the camera on. So Arnie and Chappie, great show. Before I'm getting to where I listen to them for more of the hour before my show. I'm getting ready and all that stuff. I
like Arnie. Arnie filled in once on a Saturday, like in that 11 o'clock hour between me and Lou. And I thought,
well, the way you said that means you don't like Chappie. Is that what you're saying?
No, I was saying,
hell with Chappie. No,
I like Chappie too. He asked me about. I remember we were talking about something. I won't go to great detail. We had a really good conversation, he and I, at one point about sports and a couple other things. But our Saturday show would be so much better if there was someone in that 11 o'clock slot because Lou's show was really good and our show is really good. And it'd be like bringing everybody there. So when we had Arnie there that one weekend, that was like Camelot for 1 week.
Right.
That's what I bring up. That's my compliment.
Right. Arnie, get in there. Saturday 11. And I miss it. Again, I get up early on the weekends compared to the rest of the family and I start doing stuff. And then the rest of my family, they don't even get up to after 10. So I'm not thinking, podcasts. I'm not thinking, listen, I'm out in the yard doing stuff. I'm, cleaning the pool. I'm just doing stuff. So when they get up, then I can start my weekend.
All my sucking up to Arnie got him to say, you guys are great in the chat room.
Arnie said, we're great. That's all I need.
You guys are great. No, I understand. Arnie is sort of taken over this spot in like the network has kind of like, I don't know, neighborhoods or something. There's like the Daily Show neighborhood, which is like the bread and butter. And then there's like the evening shows, which are a little bit, those are like some kind of, condominiums. They're not the best places in the world. And then on Saturday morning,
the basement. I'm the basement.
No, Saturday morning, not during football season. The weekend, not during football season. We're the place you don't go to after dark. That's why we're doing the day.
I got you. You're the show with graffiti all over the wall.
And Arnie was recognized as being really good, and they moved him to the front row.
There you go. Right, Arnie. Now, I do. Unfortunately, this is my busy time at work, so. I deal with a bunch of schools and this is their buying time, getting ready, their, big projects for the summer and all that stuff. So I'm dealing with schools all the time. So I'm listening to more shows. I'm just not as active in the chat room probably for most of this month. And then we get back to normal. So I do enjoy listening to Arnie in the morning and then Lou and all that. I'm just, like I said, not in the chat room. Which the chat room, even during the week, drops off drastically as soon as Lenny logs off. So, I get it. People are here to listen to Lenny, but I don't know. And I love Lenny, and Lenny has some good information. But, and I mean, hey, this is early enough. Maybe Lenny's listening. I don't want him to take it the wrong way, but sometimes other information is better than Lenny's or different, or, I like to hear other opinions. So I try to listen to as many different shows as possible, including a few baseball podcasts and, things during the day that I sneak in there. But I get disappointed in the chat room that they all leave as soon as Lenny's done. Give the other shows a chance. Come on. I mean,
I'll admit, like I'm a fan of Lenny, and my fandom of Lenny goes back long before I became part of this thing. But I almost never made it to the 9 o'clock show because that's just an awful time for people that have regular jobs.
Right. And I have a regular job. And I just kind of, but I'm at a desk, so I have the ability to turn him on.
So what I'm trying to say is that maybe somebody is at their desk at their real estate office or whatever, and they're sneaking to listen into Lenny.
Yeah. So it's
the hour's up. I better turn this thing off and move on.
Right. I mean, I mean, customers sometimes dictate what I have time to do or not do, but that's what I'm just saying. Now that being said, I even notice when Lenny's not there and it's Andrea or Cha, that 9 o'clock slot, you can even then see the chat room drop down. I mean, so there are always people that are only there for Lenny, and that's great. I mean, that's a good thing. So. It's his network. It's his name on the website.
It's the reason everything works.
You can't get enough information. So
I'm happy with the progress that my show has made in literally just being a stem of an idea around Christmas time to being a show that I have 10 subscribers to on Apple. Part of that's because we do something that's relatively interesting that we give information, but part of it's because Lenny opened the door.
Sure. Right. Now, and Arnie's doing the 9 a.m. on Thursday. Now, I shouldn't say anything because, again, some people out there, as soon as they know it's not going to be Lenny, don't even show up. So
you're assuming that somebody's listening to us tonight besides Arnie, so don't worry.
Well, that's true. I don't know. I mean, the round table actually on YouTube gets more views than some, it's not big. And obviously for me, football season's bigger than baseball.
Oh, no. I like baseball better, but you got to admit there's 10 football fans for every one baseball fan.
Yeah, I know. And again, but the baseball people don't like to hear that. And they complain about Sirius XM, but I'm small. And I see a difference. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm not that big of show, and I see a big difference between football and baseball. Now, that being said, I mainly talk football when it's football. But
I did some early writing when DFS just came along. Back in those things, I used to write for sites we don't mention because I'm really not a big fan of DFS. But I did one where I took like the peak of each season over the course of a year, and there's a thing called Alexa ratings, like how high you are. And like DraftKings FanDuel would be like the 1100th most visited site during baseball season, right? But when football season came around, it would jump down to like 206.
Right, which is huge. I mean, if
that is a lot more than just 5 times as many people.
Well, right. If you're the 200th most visited website, you have a lot of people visiting. That's big.
Yeah, 1100 is a solid number.
Yeah,
But 200 is like you're in the category of not the high end places, but like Sears.com, those kind of places. Everyone knows that they exist.
Right. Yeah. Right. Now, Arnie, like I said, and now that being said, here at the round table, we have listeners go down, but so do guests, obviously, this time of year. And I was doing that today, and I'm going to have to talk to Lenny or figure it out because of vacations and the holidays. I don't even know what we're going to do in July. I'm here
for you when you need somebody.
I know.
But it's a week off, and I knew about it. I'm not saying anything about a week off because I'm trying to stick my fingers in a couple other spots too.
That's fine. Oh, and that's great. And hey, and I know that too. If we fill a half hour tonight or any roundtable night, I feel we did our job.
I can fill a half hour because
hour or two.
I have like breaking news, like stop the presses thing. I'm going to do it right. I'm the guy that shot David Ortiz.
You are.
I'm sorry that I did it. I was a little bit drunk. It was the mezcal. You're down the Dom rack.
Right.
I think I just had unprotected sex with a hooker. And I might have had AIDS, and then
isn't it a Moscow Mule? right. A couple Moscow mules, a few margaritas.
And I don't know where the gun came from, but damn, there's this belligerent
There you go.
guy.
There you go. Live on the round table.
I feel so much better getting it off my chest.
That Big Poppy went down at his hands. Now, that being said, did you see the video of the poor guy they beat the shit out of?
Oh, I feel bad.
Yeah, what do you know? You can't feel bad for somebody who just goes up and shoots somebody, but obviously the court systems were working a little different that night. He was definitely guilty before proven guilty.
Don't you think the Dominican Republic is just something weird? Because, like, basically every year, a couple of baseball players die there just by driving on the roads. There's always a story of a baseball player like getting pulled over.
Accident.
There's a baseball player that gets pulled over, and like his family gets held hostage until they get him 5. It's like, wow. I know it's your home place, but I'd be scared to go back.
In fact, that the Red Sox drove and flew down and got him. They didn't even trust the medical situation down there. I mean, we are making light of it, but originally they said it was a robbery, but now they're all coming out and saying no. The guy just walked up and popped Big Poppy. I mean,
Yankee fan?
I think just a disgruntled Sunday night baseball viewer that's sick of watching Yankees or Red Sox, but that's neither here nor there. But it is scary out there in the real world, especially when you're in a different world. I mean, so now, okay. Well, I'm glad you came out, Doug. I mean, I'm standing beside you.
Hey, I just made the first 10 minutes somewhat interesting.
There you go. Even
though I couldn't talk about baseball because I lost power for an entire day this weekend.
Right. Okay. But Doug, we are now, I mean, you've been here long enough to know that, we are now, I mean, on Wednesday night, the fantasy fantasy fan sportscast with me and Chris, that's an award-winning show because Chris won an award at a beer making contest and he has that little trophy. He shows up, but now Tuesday night, the round table can now say it's also an award-winning show because Doug Boyles has brought home the trophy, which if you're watching on YouTube, he is holding up the hardware. And you did, I mean,
this is not
trivial. This trophy is not trivial. This is a first place trophy.
Yeah, we have legalized gambling here, so there are some poker rooms, and so one of the closest poker room to my house, which is the Orange City Poker Room, was holding their first ever trivia open.
Trivia invitational. You mean
they've done invitationals? No, they've done invitationals before. This was just an open one.
Okay,
and so we heard about it. And we let's go up there. And, there's about 29 teams, teams as big as 10. And the three of us, our team name is Floats Like a Butterfly, Stings When I Pee. We took them out. And it's me and Brendan, who's on my show, and another guy named Mike.
And it looks like we have Cha-Cha trying. I don't know. Cha-Cha, do we have your audio? Are you there?
He's a lot rounder looking.
There you go, guys.
We have audio from Cha-Cha.
We do have audio.
Wow, look at this. You guys got a whole new band going here. This is the Streamline. I never entered like this before. Is it working?
Yeah. I mean, you don't have your video's not on, but I don't know if you just don't have it on.
Yeah, if you're new,
I do hear you in the background. So I don't know. Are you still at the ball game? I thought you were at the ball game tonight.
Oh, I went to the ball game during the afternoon.
Oh, they don't let you stay for 2, and bastards.
No, they don't let you stay for 2. You got to get out of there.
See the one where the Yankees won. Now they were losing here just a minute ago before we got on the air. They were falling.
I got one for you. Like we did this bit with Dan Gilbert on the Fisk Show where we were asking people to tweet in with names, baseball themed names for pot strains, and one of the ones that I suggested was Twilight Doubleheader, and somebody said, "What the hell's that?" Do you remember Twilight Doubleheader?
I didn't even know what a Twilight Doubleheader was. That's because I agree. Right. Double headers like that are a thing of the past, right? I don't think does any team schedule a true double header where you can stay for both?
No, nobody does that. But they said those are beautiful games. You show up at like 4:30 to a ball game. You stay at 10:30.
Right.
The sun sets while you're there.
Used to be in my day. That used to be a lot of the weekend games. You know, a Saturday or a Sunday would be a twilight doubleheader.
That's where I remember that'd be more weekday, but the weekend would be the full-on stuff. But those are beautiful things. But twilight doubleheader is a great name for a pot strain.
Right. Hey, that's definitely a pot strain I would test out. Cha-cha, we have you back now.
They're thinking I was making something up.
Yeah. I mean,
now,
I'm here, but
did you turn your camera off? You have your camera turned off on purpose?
No, you know what it is. No, I got to switch over to a laptop because I'm on my I'm on my desktop and the sound is horrible.
No, you sound good here, but
yeah, but I can hear myself after I talk.
Oh, all right. Well, if you have to go on and off,
that's not good. And I don't know if that's gonna. I'm gonna have to come back.
All right, that's fine. We'll talk about something stupid till you come back. No, you're fine.
Talk about something smart.
Something smart. All right, something smart.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
You said
well, that's fine. I mean, now again, I guess the first two topics, I'll wait for Cha-Cha to come back because I do want Cha-Cha to participate in the two main topics.
Wow.
Because part of the first one he was participating in today, and that's this, these cross-league rivalry games and all that. Doug, while we're waiting on Cha-Cha, are you a fan of interleague play?
I mean, I would say that if I had to choose a fan or hate it, and there was no in between, I would choose hate it. But as a Chicagoan, I have an interest in the Cubs playing the White Sox, and I know New Yorkers have the interest in the Mets playing the Yankees, and I understand that. And even some other ones that are not quite as obvious, like at some level, like the Braves playing the Red Sox because they're both like Boston teams or whatever. But most of those games I don't care about. I miss the old days when the World Series the All-Star game was something special, and you got this, you would walk in and go.
And that's kind of my question. I mean, is it more important that we make it better for the whole season versus making it better for the All-Star game in the World Series? I'm a believer in it makes baseball better.
I don't know how it makes it better for the regular season. I mean,
first of all, none of this matters. Where I'm going to go doesn't matter until the leagues get the designated hitter right. But what I'm saying is I happen to be one of those people that think one of the things baseball needs to do, now no one talks about it, I think baseball needs to have, first of all, the same rules. I think they need to combine the leagues. If you want to say, interleague play or whatever, I think they just need to do realignment. Personally, if all the teams were equal again, the same rules, I think you could come up with better. You could mix obviously some old rivalries with new rivalries.
Well, I mean, where the realignment is for is because of they tried to keep some rivalries together.
Right. But then they've also done away with some, and but
yeah, I mean, I miss the Cubs.
Would a division that included the White Sox and the Cubs, and St. Louis and Milwaukee, meaning let's get the 4 or 5 teams that, in my opinion, are just close enough that fans could travel, versus just saying the Mets, the Yankees, Red Sox.
The cities that have multiple teams, the two teams shouldn't be in the same league. They should be separate, so there's some way that you can sort of root for both sides. I feel bad for like the Mets fans because they're like kind of the redheaded stepchild of New York because almost everybody's Yankees fan.
Yeah, I'm gonna just disagree with you.
If you put them in the same division, then they would get even worse.
They still would only play each other out of 164 games. I don't know what it is. I think now you only play in your division, one team 16 times. So the Cubs and the White Sox would play 16 times. My point would be, I think that would make the rivalry of the two teams in the same city greater, and obviously more games. That's all. I mean, I think there's
the whole point is that like literally like as growing up in Chicago, and my family is divided between White Sox and Cubs fans. I'm a North Sider. The Italian side of my family is mostly South Siders.
Right.
And we get along all right because we really don't. We never go head to head. We never really go head except for this one weekend thing, and it's a lot of trash talking my cousins or whatever. If and so I don't like the White Sox, but what I'll say, I've watched the White Sox win 2 World Series. What I say at those times is I was not rooting for them, but I have enough friends who root for them that I'm happy for my friends. There's that middle ground.
But again, unfortunately,
if we were in the same division, that wouldn't be allowed. It would be genuine hatred for the other teams.
It would be. I mean, I guess in football, I'm in a city where it's already happening. I mean, the Bengals and the Browns are in the same conference and we're rivals and we're in the same state. I mean, and I think
the Jaguars and Dolphins are in the same state. There's a lot of those.
Okay, but my argument would be let's do it all that way. I mean, I think they could do it some way where the teams could be realigned more for, local teams pretty much all together. And I get it. A lot of them already are, but
it's mostly okay.
I don't know. I don't think there's a problem if the Mets and Yankees played 16 times and then you add the Red Sox in there, and your other, Northeastern teams, and then, your West Coast teams, and blah, blah, blah.
Philly and Baltimore.
Oh,
no, probably Toronto.
Baltimore, I mean,
Toronto could be a Midwest team because it's only an hour and 30 minutes.
Toronto could even be mixed in with Chicago teams. I mean,
I think that the divisions are fairly well lined up. The only real issue is the Wests. They take up so much space because there's just not a lot of teams on the western half of America.
Right now. And unfortunately, or fortunately, a lot of them are already in the same division.
Well, it's
other than the American League versus National, but you have the Angels. Like I said, I just think I don't have a problem with interleague play personally, but at the same time, I think we should just commit to it and just again, we played Cleveland tonight. I would love that we played Cleveland more than just twice a year for 6 games, or it's not even 6 this year. It's 5.
Isn't there a chance? Wasn't there a chance that if you had 16 games versus Cleveland, and you feel if that's your natural rivalry, that it would diminish the rivalry or something? Because when you see each other, it would be less and less special every time.
No, it's not a rivalry to me because we only play 5 times. It's a rivalry to me because I hate Cleveland. Or vice versa. Now I get it. Chicago's different. It's the same town.
The weekend that they play the White Sox, I mean, it's a cross city party on both ends, and a lot of times they would play 4 games where they'd play 2 in Wrigley and then 2 in Comiskey or whatever they're playing in nowadays.
Right.
It's it would be a big thing, and because there's only those 3-4 games to play, if you didn't do it right, there was no we can get them next time because there was no next time. Everything was a little bit more heightened. Even when the Cubs weren't a good team. And the White Sox weren't a good team. You could sort of make your year by being a 4th place White Sox team, but you won the series against the Cubs.
Well, right. I don't know. I know I'm talking to somebody who's a baseball guy, and it's hard to change. Cha-Cha, are you there again?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right.
How you guys doing?
Would you have a problem if the Yankees and the Mets were in the same division? Same conference, or if we did away with interleague play, but just realigned all the teams so that teams in the same city would be, in the same division.
No, I wouldn't have a problem with that. I'd probably encourage that. I like the Yankees to play the Mets 19 times, like they play the Blue Jays.
Do you want them to play each other because you think it'd be a fun game to see, or you just want those 18 wins?
I know.
Well, then, Doug, it's not working out like that for us today. They're getting their brains kicked in the second game. The Mets are killing the Yankees,
right?
And they were beating. I think the game today, the Yankees were losing to the Mets earlier in the game. I thought they were going to lose today, but Wheeler was terrible today. I don't know what happened to him.
Shit happens, and it usually happens when you go to the game, right?
It was good. It was good. I good, very good seats there. I was right behind the shade, right behind third base, but just 5 rows in the shade. Perfect.
Now, how do you get your seats for the Yankees games? Do you have somebody? Do you know somebody? Do you go to do you just buy them off of a ticket site, or do you go to a scalper? How do you get Yankees tickets?
Nowadays, I get tickets because they're free.
Okay.
Somebody will call me up like I like today, last night about 10 o'clock at night when the game got postponed earlier. A friend of mine says, "Hey, my kids can't go to the game. They were all set to go. They were getting on a train, and thankfully they got a text message told them not to go. Otherwise, they would have went down there for nothing."
Right, that would have sucked.
Yeah, and so then the kids couldn't go, so they had to go to school today or whatever they had to do, go to work.
And the guy went, man, who do I know that loafs all day, doesn't do shit, maybe walks a dog here or there, and then you were the name that came up, right?
Yeah, he knows right away. He knows to get in contact with me. He's a friend of mine that we used to go to all the games back in '96. We had a guy there, one of the guys that worked behind the ticket. He was a guy we had every single game if we needed tickets. We just gave him a few bucks, and he'd always get us into any game.
Well, that makes it
all the way to the World Series.
Right now, because it was a rescheduled game, was it that crowded? How many people come on a day game in New York?
No, I mean it still was. I think they had about 25,000, half the crowd.
Okay, half the crowd. Now, is that an announced ticket sale type thing, or was that an actual count of bodies? I don't know how they do that in New York. Some stadiums, I think, give you a ticket sale number, and some give you a body count.
Well, today I think just by looking at the crowd, it obviously wasn't filled to the brim because, like I said, most people couldn't make the game. Guys like me, it would have filled in. So you had everybody that was there basically was, you know, a lot of families couldn't make it.
Right, they didn't expect to be there.
They had the Yankees had a crammed in doubleheader versus the Orioles this year, where they said the crowd was like 7,000 people. It was like a Wednesday. Or something.
Right.
Yeah, that's very rare.
It probably didn't hurt that it was a Mets that were playing, though, because I'm assuming there were some people that maybe that was their only way to get to see this series was that they got tickets, for a rainout game too. I'm sure there were Met fans there.
Was it played at Citi Field?
Yeah, it was a Yankees home game.
Because I figure Yankee tickets are probably harder to get than Mets tickets, but. I remember like the first I on football. I grew up a Bear fan, and like getting Bear tickets were impossible to get. The first Bears game I ever went to see, I went to see the Bears play the Packers in Milwaukee. Because that's the only one I could get. Packers used to play in Milwaukee like 4 games a year.
Well, that's the same thing. Unfortunately, I'm a Buckeyes fan. I've seen the Buckeyes play 3 times. All 3 times it's been at Indiana. I mean, I've never seen them. At the shoe. I've always gotten tickets to go watch them play Indiana. And to be real honest, there's always more Buckeye fans there than there are Indiana fans. Actually,
I've seen the Buckeyes play twice, both times at Citrus Bowl, and they travel well. A lot of people there. So I've never been.
Right, that's my point. So when we play Indiana now. Indiana's gotten better the last few years.
I hear they had a guy on Indiana who got drafted by the Redskins.
Yeah, he did. We're going to try to get him on here in a couple of weeks. But yes, he did. And right now they're all mini camping.
What's his name?
Wesley Martin.
Winston?
Wesley Martin. Wes Martin. Now number 78. 78 with the Redskins. Now that brings me to the next kind of thing. Today, and again, I know this is a podcast where we really get into deep fantasy stuff, but Hard Knocks announced today that the Los Angeles Raiders are going to be their team. Which I don't know. That seems like Gruden would have signed on to that immediately. Gruden, I'm sorry, we can say what we want. I think Gruden likes media now. I think, in the old days he was anti-media, and now I don't think they could put enough cameras on the guy. But that's not my question. My question is, unless I've missed it, is there a baseball version of Hard Knocks, or in spring training, would you watch a show like Hard Knocks about a baseball team?
Doug,
we were talking. Were we talking about a Netflix show about JUCO baseball?
No, I know there's JUCO football on Netflix.
What was the name of that show?
There's a couple of Netflix shows where they do about college football. Amazon has a couple shows on preseason or on NFL and all that. but I've not seen anything that's baseball oriented where they would do a 6-week thing or something on a spring training camp type thing.
It's not pro, but they have a show called Last Chance U.
Right. Last Chance U, though, is football.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Last Chance U is football. Very good show. I highly recommend it. But that's my point. I would be interested. I enjoy those kind of shows where you get to see coaches behind closed doors, where you get to see management making decisions. As a fantasy player, I would find that very interesting.
I think there is something to that because we were just talking about the minor league draft on our show this week, and the truth is, what we kind of came to the conclusion was that the minor league draft in baseball isn't like the drafts in football or basketball. It's your introduction to the players. It's actually more akin to like National Signing Day for college football. You know that one day a lot of these guys are going to be playing for your Bengals or for your Jets, but this is the first time you ever really meet them unless they played at your high school. And
right, okay.
It's like they probably should do a show about like the Durham Bulls or the one of these Firefrogs. Those there's probably some good stories there. Those guys are just about there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just thinking,
and minor leagues could use that kind of
right. I think
because there's great baseball being played in most minor league games. Living in Florida, I go to 6 minor league games for every 1 pro game I go to, and admittedly, 1 out of those 6 games is really awful. But the truth is, if you're honest about it, 1 out of 10 pro games are pretty awful too.
Right.
It's like,
part of the argument I would have is baseball movies. There we got video there for Cha-Cha. But baseball movies I find much more interesting than football movies. So
really? Yeah, I guess you're right.
So what I'm saying is, so in real life, I can't imagine that baseball in real life wouldn't be as good as football in real life, as far as doing a minor league or I'm just saying, I would love to see a spring training where they film, for the week and then edit it down to do coaches' decisions and who's playing. Or is it that spring season baseball doesn't have the finalities that football has? In football, people are getting cut that may never play again. And baseball, you really don't hear that. They're just, everybody plays until the last day, and then some make the majors and some just go to minor league and go. I don't think there's too many people actually getting cut like in football. But I would watch a Hard Knock, and to me, even the name Hard Knocks sounds like it'd be a hell of a baseball show. You know what I'm saying? I mean, even that title sounds baseball.
Sounds like a plan.
I was just Googling it, and I'm like, it looks like they tried it on Showtime and only ran for 2 years.
What was it called?
They had a show called The Franchise.
Okay.
Where they followed the San Francisco Giants around for a year.
Was that when they won the World Series?
Yeah, they won. They won the next year. Didn't they win in the even number years?
Okay, so but it was during the regular season.
The second season, this is what doomed them. The second season, they decided to follow around the Miami Marlins.
Oh yeah,
there goes the TV show.
They followed the Miami Marlins. Okay, I'm just saying, football movies suck. Football reality is enjoyable.
There have been like a couple of decent football movies, but there's a lot of good baseball movies.
Yeah, I would agree. Baseball just works better. That's why I would think some kind of a preseason type thing. I was just curious if I was missing something or if just baseball couldn't make it work. Because obviously NFL films, they're about as top notch as there is out there as far as somebody that can make sports, interesting.
Well, I mean, there have been documentaries in baseball that I've liked. But they have been ongoing things like this. Like, I mean, I know most of what I know about the Negro Leagues from documentaries. There was a documentary that I went to a special showing that talked about the Israeli team in the World Baseball Classic, and that was fantastic.
Right.
But they don't do this regular like we're going to do it over and over and over again. I think Hard Knocks has kind of that in between spot. It's like half documentary, but half really like a reality TV show.
Right.
All
right.
I think you guys. I think if we had our teams, I think the Reds, the Cubs, and the Yankees were being involved in something like that. I think for us as fans, I would be interested in watching it on a weekly basis. And spring training, actually, there is a lot of cutting going on. We just, you'll see it in if you get a newspaper. Sometimes you may hear it on ESPN or MLB, they may say certain guys get cut, but you don't hear it as often as you do. I think in football, they don't really make as big a deal, I think, as football, because I guess football, like veteran guys get cut a lot of times more. I think in football, where you'll know the names.
Right. So they're being
Baseball,
cut.
like
Right.
Yeah.
But you said something, Cha-Cha, that, believe it or not, I think is important. You said if our teams were involved, you would watch. I do believe in baseball. I actually buy what you said there. I think baseball fans are more my team, my team, my team. And I'm not talking fantasy. I'm just talking in general. Your normal baseball fan here in Ohio only cares about the Reds. They're not turning on the TV at midnight to watch the Angels play the Giants or anything like that. Where in football, I think there's still a little more of a tendency to be a fan of the whole sport. So even if it's not the Bengals on Hard Knocks, I still want to watch the Raiders or last year was the Browns. But
so it's an alternative reasoning for that, which is, as a baseball fan, I'm a Cubs fan. I get 162 games I can watch. There's 40 spring training games. There's 7 minor league teams associated with it. There's literally all the baseball in the world, more baseball than I could possibly get a hold of.
Right.
As a fan of the Chicago Bears, there's 16 games and that's it. And if I was a really diehard football fan, I'd be jonesing for something more. I mean, I know they have.
Yeah, but but you say that. But in March, I even say, in
March, I'm watching spring training games. I'm listening.
Right, that's my thing. MLB Network. I watch them in March, and all they're doing is, it's all this, camp stuff. There's 2 guys with a microphone talking about the Orioles today, and they talk about it all day long. My point is, it just seems like MLB could do, it just seems like a Sunday night they could have an edited team where they go a little more in depth than just 2 guys talking about the Orioles today or the Reds tomorrow. I watch it; it gets a little monotonous to a point because they're trying to fill so much time. It just seems like they could throw in and again, it's reality, but it's edited. You know what I'm saying? I mean, to kind of break down what really happens, behind the scenes of Hard Knocks, when they're in the coaches' rooms, and I think, do the coaches know they're being recorded? I think originally, but some of them, I think, eventually say shit they didn't plan on television because they kind of forget the cameras are there so much they forget the cameras are there. I in my mind, I can never recall seeing anything like that in baseball. They talk to managers, where they're behind their desk after a game or they're, and this and that. But I don't think I've ever seen a true,
well, I don't know what's on my head, but I was just Googling it, and I brought up a franchise. Apparently, the Baseball Network tried a baseball reality show called The Club where they followed around the White Sox back when they had Ozzie Gillen. It ran for 1 year. There's a show that
maybe that's it. They've tried and it doesn't work. But
there's a show running called the Pecos League, which is about the independent Texas League baseball, which has you always hear about that one team in Middle Texas, where the guys like Rafael Palmeiro tried to make his comeback there and stuff.
Right. Yeah, those are
1 year
affiliated minor league teams. They're not affiliated with anybody.
Still not that big. You get out to see the Key West team, and sometimes you'll have a fun time there, even though they're not affiliated.
Right.
There's some good baseball being played there.
Cha-Cha's getting his shit together there. His Woody Woodpecker and everything. I got. But speaking of that, Cha-Cha, I mean, all of a sudden today, your team started kicking my ass. I was feeling good until my team was. Let's
try that.
Now today you kind of came back on me. Now I'm struggling. What are you doing? Are you on? Okay, you got your phone on now and your other thing.
Yeah, I'm gonna knock this out.
Let me see. I'll put you both up here. We're gonna do dueling cha-chas.
All right. I just whacked that one out. Now that's terrible.
No, you're doing fine, Cha-Cha. You're doing
now. Now I'm on the phone. I mean, I'm on the iPhone.
I know you're not. I'm
killing you guys. The quality is so bad using the the laptop. That
I thought you sounded fine. I mean, I think you do sound a little better now. So I don't know if it's a microphone on your cell phone now. I don't know what the hell we're looking at right now. The back wall or something like that. There you go.
Let's see if I can do this right. Yeah, there we go.
You look fine.
Now,
me and Doug already talked earlier. Unfortunately, this time of year, the round table struggles getting guests and all that. And that's what I said. I already
saw my trophy.
Cha-cha. Oh, what is that? Oh my goodness, that looks. What is that, Doug?
He won first place.
Yeah, I play trivia. The trivia team. My trivia team won first place at a open trivia tournament at a poker room.
Oh, was that for sports or something?
All sorts of questions.
Is that with the Nutty Professor there?
No, I was with Brendan. Brendan, the other guy.
Nutty Professor.
I love that. He's got a real brand that people know, and it's like he's like, you gotta call him the professor. To me, he's been my friend for a long time. I call him by his first name, and everyone he freaks out when I do a video.
Oh, I understand. I have friends like that.
It's kind of nice to have that. Like people, I mean, Cha-Cha, you're interesting, and people might remember you, but you're more memorable because you're Cha-Cha. If your name was Bill.
I guess my name was.
Your name was Bill. Yeah.
Bill.
Okay, Bill.
Hey, Bill's up next.
Right.
Get a legend.
No, I know. I don't ever ask Cha-Cha.
Remember Bill?
How long has Cha-Cha been your nickname? We did nicknames last week on the show, actually. How long has Cha-Cha been your nickname?
On and off, I'd say probably since I'm a.
Okay, so it's not just a fantasy thing. It's been your nickname.
Oh, no, it's not a fantasy thing. Nah, definitely got nothing to do with fantasy.
It was back in the days when he was a dance teacher.
No.
When he did the Cha-Cha.
The funny thing is, it's totally opposite of me. I'm the opposite of a Cha-Cha. I couldn't do a Cha-Cha if you pay me $1,000. My father was a dancer. And he was Cha-Cha.
Hey, if Doug paid me $1,000, I would do a Cha-Cha if you would let me.
No, you do Cha-Cha.
I would do you, Cha-Cha. That's all I got.
Drink the Cha-Cha dance.
Yeah, right. I would do you. That's all.
Easy.
We had Lou out there for a minute.
Lou?
Yeah, Lou was out there for just a second. I don't know. He says he's too busy to come on the show. Everyone's too busy to come on the round table anymore.
Well, now that the Raptors are doing so well, the Canadians are getting a lot more aloof.
Oh, the Canadians, the greatest sports fans of the world come out twice a year when they finally do something.
Easy. What's better than me and you playing in head-to-head fantasy? Is there anything better than that?
I know. I'm pissed off because I was doing good. I was kicking your ass, and then today you kicked my ass.
I tell you, it's a brutal battle, man.
I know. It should go down. Now, hey, what helped me is I got two healthy guys today, but I didn't put them in the lineup. I got D.D. Gordon. I got D. Gordon back today, and I got Melina back. I needed that badly, but I didn't play them tonight. But they both were batting. I think both were hitting 500 earlier. So hopefully that helps me for the end of the week because you kicked my ass so far today.
You better ask Doug for help. Who are you going to drop? You got to drop.
That's my problem. My team's so strong. I hate to say it that way because that makes
your team is strong.
My team is strong. It's hard for me to and unfortunately, even my shitty players I've picked up have actually done pretty good, and I hate to drop them now.
I agree. You definitely have whoever you drop is worth a pickup.
Yeah, I know. And unfortunately, I've tried to work a few trades. And
it's tough. It
is tough in this league to do that. So I do think I'm going to have to drop somebody. And I still have two other people that should come off my injury reserve here pretty soon, too. Springer, I need Springer back. My team went down pretty quickly when I lost Springer. So, but
I hear you.
I'm just I'm fine. I got Keuchel. I don't know. I think I'm doing fine. Now I have a little. We've actually gone 45 minutes and talked about nothing, so that's fine. But I got a couple of. I made up a list of a few things here. Now I'm sure Cha-Cha has. Oh, did we lose Cha-Cha, or did he just turn his video off?
No, I had it. This is ridiculous. What happened here?
I don't know.
I'm here, but it just here we go.
Quit touching shit, Cha-Cha. Quit touching things.
You know what happened? You know what?
There you go.
Yahoo wouldn't let me go. Yahoo wouldn't let me go into my to check out our scores, and they thought I was coming.
Okay,
from
all right. I
different
can do
site.
that on another machine over here. I mean, all right. Everyone cares. I got to talk louder. Everyone cares about our fantasy stuff, Cha-Cha. I mean, everyone cares.
Everybody except for everybody but me and you. That's the only one.
Okay, but here, I came up with some random.
Easy there, Doug. Take it easy.
Take it
I
easy.
didn't realize I was there. I kept trying to say something, and I was like, "Oh, I was on mute."
All right.
So I went to cough, and I turned it on so you could hear the cough.
I heard something today on a radio thing of fantasy, and then it made me come up with obviously a totally different thing out of it. But I came up. You've all heard of F, marry, kill. I know I say this is explicit, so we can say the F word here. Fuck, marry, kill. I mean, it's where you have three people, and usually it's hot women or it's whatever. It's like which one would you F, which one would you marry, and which one would you kill? Well, I'm now up on you. I'm now winning, Cha-Cha, 5-4. 5-4. Something happened. We stopped the presses. What happened here? Who got hot on my team? I got a stolen. Who got me a stolen base today? Ozuna got me a stolen base. I love Ozuna. He's one stolen base every 10 days.
Up, bro. Up.
Man, my shitty catcher's even having a good night.
Reno?
But D. Gordon came back tonight, went 1 for 4, and Molina came back and went 2 for 5. So that's not too bad. But Kyle Seager. All right, my team's coming back tonight, Cha-Cha. So I'm now winning 5-4.
You beat me 9. You beat me 8-1 yesterday.
Yeah, but that's early. It's early. So here we go. F, marry, kill. So for fantasy purpose, I would say F. The F part means you get to pick this guy. You can have him for 1 week, but you can't have him ever. You can't have him ever again. Or you can or you have to marry somebody, and that means they're in your lineup the whole year. You can't change. And then obviously kill means you can never have them in your lineup. So, Doug, and this is the 3 that started this on another radio show.
Let me just clarify. What does FF mean?
Fuck. You're gonna fuck. Yeah. Okay.
Hey,
Listen, wait a minute.
Chris Wright is an attractive man.
Okay, but I didn't know how to do it any other way than to explain F, marry, kill, which, Howard, they always doing it with people. But here's your 3, Doug. I'm going to give you the first one.
Okay.
Write this down.
You have F1, marry 1, or kill 1. Technically, you can use 1 for a week, 1 for the year,
and 1
never. And I don't even care. Whatever criteria you want. F, marry, kill. Roger Clemens, Randy Johnson, Tom Glavine. You have to F1, marry 1, kill 1.
I would kill Glavine.
Okay, so Glavine right now will never be on your fantasy team.
And I would fuck Johnson and marry Clemens. That's pretty straightforward.
So you would marry Clemens. Clemens would be the one you would rely on or have the most faith in for a whole season.
I have a good amount of faith in Randy Johnson.
Randy Johnson would be the guy you'd put in the World Series. I mean, you got 1 week and you need numbers.
Yep.
All right. So that would be it. Cha-Cha, the same 3, right? I mean, I was going to give you different, but let's just say Clemens, Randy Johnson, or Glavine. F, marry, kill.
F. I'm going to F Johnson.
All right. Randy Johnson's going to be your main guy.
Yeah,
You're gonna F him, so he's your 1 week guy.
But I have to first.
I'm going to kill Clemens.
All right.
Ooh.
And I'm going to marry.
You're marrying Glavine.
Yeah.
See, I do kind of agree with. I think I'm more on Doug's side because I don't think Glavine, and I didn't look any of this up. I guess in my mind, Glavine seems like a good pitcher, but for fantasy wouldn't get you the great numbers like you might get out of a Randy Johnson or a
this is for fantasy. I thought this was for real life. Like marry him.
I can do whatever you want. You'd make whatever you want. All right. Here's the next one. And some of these have a pattern and some are just random. Okay. Here's 3. This time we're going to go Cha-Cha first. F, marry, kill. I don't even care what you want to do with these guys. If it's real life, that's fine. Mike Schmidt, George Brett, Wade Boggs. There's our third base or our corner infield spot. Mike Schmidt, George Brett, Wade Boggs. F, marry, kill.
So if I F him, what do I do? What happens if I F him?
F him technically means you just get one great week out of him. You get 1 great game. You get 1 thing, but that's it. If you marry him, you get a whole season. You get you got them. You got all their numbers. Oh, and then kill means you don't get them. The guy you're playing in the World Series gets them. You don't even get them on your team. You're throwing them to the waivers.
All right. I'm going to kill Bugs. Marry him.
I knew you were going to kill the Red Sox.
I'm killing the Red Sox.
You were killing the Red Sox.
I'm going to marry Brett. What's his name? The guy from the Royals.
George Brett.
George Brett. And then I'm going to
F.
I'm going to F Schmidt.
You're going to F Schmidt. Okay. What about you, Doug?
I really am I loved watching Wade Boggs bat. So I'm gonna marry him. Brett had that one awesome season. He was good all around, but I'm gonna take him as the fuck side, and I'm gonna kill Mike Schmidt because he hit 50 home runs at Wrigley Field.
Yeah,
I
can understand that.
And he never played for the Cubs. He just killed the Cubs over and over and over again.
I can understand that.
I personally, I'm going to go the other way. I think I'm marrying Mike Schmidt. I think Mike Schmidt's the guy I want all season long because he just had pretty decent numbers. Wade Boggs, I think I'm going to F because Wade Boggs could also put a week together. He could give you a 1 week and then you could cut him. And I don't know. George Brett was a great Hall of Famer. I just in Hall of Fame in fantasy mind, he's the one I'm going to kill. So that's my thing. So again, so that was our corner infield. Here we go. I'm gonna this one. Pete Rose, Rod Carew, Kirby Puckett. Doug, I'll let you go first. Pete Rose, Rod Carew, Kirby Puckett. F.
I feel bad because I actually like all three of these guys.
Oh, I think trust me. I spent some time. It's the most useless thing I've ever done. I actually spent time putting these threesomes together.
I mean, I'm a 6'4", 270-pound guy, and I've always been big, and I've been a power hitter. But I always respected the guys that could just put the bat on the ball over and over and over again.
These are the best hitters in baseball, and
Carew probably was. I mean, like Wade Boggs was one of the best. Carew was like in my head, like just right there.
Right.
Like, so I was like, all right, but growing up, Pete Rose was probably the first baseball player that I really fell in love with. Like, this guy's a great guy. So I'm going to marry Pete Rose.
All right.
His problems be damned. He's the guy I want.
Right.
He's the guy I'd want to be friends with for a long time. He's the, whatever.
All right. And again, if you want to make it personal, I have no problem with that.
I'm going to kill Puckett only because not for anything he did personally, but because he's not Rose or Carew.
Okay. And so that means you're gonna F Carew
because he's Jewish, and I like my guys.
I got you. I didn't get going there, but I like that. Cha, what about you? F, marry, kill Pete Rose, Rod Carew, Kirby Puckett.
F Pete Rose, marry Rod Carew, and kill Kirby Puckett.
All right. All three of us agree on killing Kirby Puckett. I'm a big Pete Rose guy from Ohio, but I'm just going to F him because I think he'll give you a good week when you need him. But Rod Carew, personally, in my mind, was the better all-around fantasy guy. Meaning, not that Pete Rose didn't steal a base here or there, but he didn't run as much as Rod Carew. I think Rod Carew is the better all-around fantasy player out of those three, personally.
That's a tough one, man. I don't know. I might. I don't know. Maybe Puckett might have been better for fantasy.
But Puckett never stole any bases.
But Puckett could hit home runs. Those two guys could hit home runs.
You know what? You're right. I would say out of that,
Puckett could drive in runs.
Be more likely to hit a home run than Pete Rose. But Pete Rose scored more runs than anybody in the history of the game still, right? I mean, nobody has crossed home plate more than Pete Rose. And as far as I know, he still holds that record. So
No, Rose, I mean, you got to also, I love Pete Rose, don't get me wrong. Pete Rose also played with, if you look at Pete Rose's record, name one year or one team, put it that way. Maybe there had to be one team. Look at all the guys that batted underneath him. He had some all-star Hall of Famers that drove him in constantly. He never had a scrub team that I remember.
I'm not arguing that. Hey, it doesn't hurt to have somebody
like
who's batting 300, for his career ahead of you. I mean,
Rod Carew was great, but let's face it, his teams weren't all that great.
All right. I'm gonna a little twist here.
Go.
A little twist.
Twist.
F, marry, kill. vodka, rum, whiskey. Go ahead, Cha-Cha. You're going first. You have to marry one. You can have one all your life. The other one you can just have one week, and the other one you can't ever have again. Vodka, rum, whiskey.
The one I can't have it ever my rest of my life, I would kill it, right?
Yep.
That'd be whiskey.
Whiskey, you're killing whiskey. All
I'm
right.
killing whiskey. I want vodka for the rest of my life.
You're
So
marrying
that's-
vodka, and you're gonna
I'm marrying, and then I'm
you're
and
gonna
then
F rum.
and then F the rum.
All right.
Rum's good, but not all the time.
Okay. So vodka is what you're gonna go with for your life. All right. What about you, Doug?
I'd marry whiskey, and just to be honest, we're celebrating our 25th anniversary this weekend.
Woohoo!
Who's we?
Me and
Oh, you and
going
whiskey.
way back.
I was gonna say. I thought you were celebrating 25 years of not being with somebody, which is also a good celebration.
Yeah. All right. So whiskey, you are marrying whiskey.
Whiskey's got so many diverse things. You can get the Scotch. You can get like the American whiskeys, like Jack Daniels is a fan.
No.
Canadian whiskeys. Wow. But pot stilled Irish whiskey. There's just too much there.
Gotcha.
Then I would kill vodka, because vodka is like it's drinking very little flavor. There's like a robustness to whiskey. There's a robustness to most rum.
So are you also going to fuck rum?
I'm gonna fuck rum.
You're fucking rum.
Because the beauty of rum isn't in drinking the rum straight, but it's all those really crazy cocktails they make. Like there's nothing like drinking a hurricane.
I am easy is gonna split this one right down the middle of both of you. I'm gonna marry rum. I think rum to me is the one that's in the middle of both. It can be mixed with a lot of things, but it tastes pretty damn good on its own. So I'm going to marry the rum. I'm going to fuck the whiskey, and I'm going to kill the vodka because it's just too plain for me. So I split us right down the middle on that one. I just threw that in there. Thought that would be a good one.
If you don't live far from Kentucky, have you ever gone to like the Bourbon Trail and that stuff?
Yeah, but
no, Buffalo Trace. When you go to Buffalo Trace, they make whiskey. They make Buffalo Trace whiskey. They literally sell the White Dog as vodka. It's so close.
I mean, most whiskeys start as a vodka. They're really a clear alcohol at first. Yeah. They become a whiskey in the aging process. So, all right, here's a little twist here. Also, I'm going to go. Who had the first? I think I started. This will be Cha-Cha first. Cha-Cha, and I'll be curious if you. Okay, first of all, whoever goes first, give me an idea of why this one is relative anyway, or why I put these three together. It's not that hard. Bo Jackson, Deion Sanders, or George Halas? F, marry, kill. Any idea why those three guys are in the same group?
They played dual sports.
Yeah, they did. They both were football and baseball players.
Wow. So if I had to have somebody forever, that means I'm marrying them. So that would be Bo.
You're okay. So Bo, but you're marrying Bo,
and I'm gonna kill Deion.
Kill Deion.
And F Halas.
F Halas. All right. I'm not sure that.
I don't know if
do you know who George Halas played for in baseball?
We played for the Yankees, right?
Yes. He was a Yankee. Yeah. So
very good.
Yeah, very good. So there you go. You get an F a Yankee. That's good. Cha-Cha. Cha-Cha picked a Yankee.
I'd fuck Bo.
You're gonna fuck Bo. All right.
No, not like is there a better player in any sport who's just a shining star in a beautiful moment who didn't last?
I mean, there's been a lot of great athletes in my time, so it's hard for me to just say of the people. Meaning, okay, and it's a whole nother. I'll put us in another realm. But if I had the 10 top athletes of my era all on TV tonight, and Bo Jackson was one of those 10, and they were all on at the same time, and I had to pick which one to watch, it'd be hard not to pick Bo. And I don't care which sport it was in, football or the baseball.
Well, I mean, you're not going to. I wouldn't marry Bo. I wouldn't marry Bo because what do you get? 3 years? You don't get that much. That's the thing.
I got you. So you don't want to marry Bo.
Yeah, but you don't. But then again, Doug, you should know better than anybody else. 3 years of marriage is long enough.
and they tell you that, like someone asked me, like, how long are you married to that first one? It's like, 7 years and 9 months. And they're like, why'd you split up? It's like, you know, if I murdered somebody, I'd come up for parole at 7 years. I mean, like that's just for murdering somebody.
Right.
Give me a
Right.
shot.
Amen.
Deion
Sanders, Bo Jackson.
I'm gonna marry Hallis because that's the long term. The year after year.
No, you gotta marry.
The thing they did for the Chicago Cubs. Sorry, the Chicago Bears.
Well, that's true. I mean, I'll even give you a little bit of his. I mean, as a all around fan, right? I mean, he's a Hall of Fame football guy. Now he is not in the Hall of Fame for baseball. I did double check that, and he only played a few years. But
and then I'm going to kill Deion. But it's really nothing personal against Deion. I remember the first show I was ever on. You asked the question like what's the 2-on-2 guys that you'd want to play football with the most? And years afterwards, I'm like, no, the correct answer is Deion Sanders and Devin Hester. No one would touch you guys, like
right.
I guess
that was to be on your team, right? The two guys you have on your team.
I mean, those guys literally could cover everybody, and no human being that we know could theoretically get within 5 feet of them.
Yeah, that's true. Right. But I think as far as if it's baseball that we're doing this and not just what they did overall, Deion Sanders,
he wasn't that great of a baseball player. He was
Deion Sanders played more seasons of baseball than Bo Jackson.
Yeah.
No.
Yes, he did. Bo Jackson only played, I think, 3 years, got hurt, and then came back for one more year for the White Sox. I think he only played 4, maybe 5 years of baseball, right?
I thought he played a lot more than Deion.
More than that? Where Deion Sanders,
Deion played more football than him, not baseball.
With the Reds. I don't know. Look that up. I don't know. I just think all around, Deion Sanders got you stolen bases. He got you base hits. He got you runs. Bo Jackson got you home runs. I'm going to marry Deion. I'm going to F Bo, and I'm just going to kill George. He just didn't have enough baseball career for me, even though I think career-wise, Hall of Fame-wise, all-around-wise, he might have been. Some people think George Halas in the early 1900s was one of the greatest athletes of our, of all time. But I don't know. That's kind of my thing. I know.
I'm a bit shocked here. I just looked up Bo Jackson, and it looks like he played 9 years.
9?
Played a lot. I got a lot. You know what it is? I know that because I have so many of his baseball.
How many with the Royals? Because to me, that's the only time he really was a baseball. I know he came back and had
5 with the Royals.
He had a couple good at bats, with the White Sox, but he didn't.
And then my computer is slowing up, so I can't look.
And your computer's slowing up. All right.
Deion Sanders. How long did he play for the Reds? Did he play that much for the Reds?
I was trying to look up, but my computer.
All right, go ahead. All right.
Bo Jackson came. He when he left the Royals, he went to the White Sox for like 23 games in '91. Then he was out of baseball for a year. Then he came back to the White Sox.
Oh,
because that was after the hip injury.
Then he wound up playing in California at age 31.
Well,
he played for the California Angels.
According to Baseball Reference, I don't remember
really.
That.
All right. And then Deion Sanders. Now, football wise, man, I'd have trouble if let's say if we're just going to do it as a football player. Deion Sanders, but I actually think that's a harder one with these three, because of what they did football wise. Deion Sanders might have been one of the greatest safeties / defenders of all time, but George Halas was a great, Chicago Bear, actually.
Sanders also played 9 years of baseball.
9 years? Okay. So if would you change your answer, Doug, if you're going to go strictly based on their football career?
I mean, I guess I'd sort of football player? No, I mean.
So if you're going to F Marry Kill their football career, would you keep it the same?
Yeah, I would. Halas marry Bo Jackson when he was there. He was just so awesome. I mean, don't get me wrong. Sanders was fun to watch, but there's only so much impact you can make as a. Well, I guess he did.
Well, that's true. Fantasy wise, Deion Sanders in football didn't do anything for you.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, fuck him. All right, wait, hold on.
Earmuffs, kids.
Right.
Adults only.
Right.
Just the way I like
That's it. That's it.
Ooh.
Okay. Here we go. Cha-cha. Here we go. Buster Posey, Mike Piazza, Johnny Bench. Fuck, marry, kill.
Wow. Well, marrying Johnny Bench.
I'm marrying Johnny Bench. I just love to hear you guys say that.
I'm going to marry Johnny Bench. I'm definitely killing Buster Posey.
I don't know.
And-
Buster Posey for a season might have been one of the best fantasy catchers out there. But
Yeah,
that's
but he ain't nothing. He ain't nothing on Piazza. He got nothing on
Piazza's
Piazza.
numbers were crazy in the Roy
Yeah.
era. I mean, they were great.
I'm gonna F Piazza.
so you're gonna
He
F,
liked that.
you're
Piazza,
gonna
he
you're
would
gonna
like that.
F, you're gonna F Piazza, marry
Before he F's me.
and kill Buster.
A meeting of the mustaches.
There you go. All right.
Yeah.
What about you, Doug? What about you? Three great catchers.
I mean, it's hard not to marry Bench. That's the easy one, But I would fuck both Posey and kill off Piazza, and I understand Piazza's got better numbers, but it's all in that.
Man,
It's all in that steroid era thing where it's it's hard for me to. I mean, don't get me wrong. If they let everybody in, I wouldn't care. Like if I could talk about the Hall of Fame, where I could talk about Clemens and Bonds in the same breath as Piazza, and then I wouldn't really care. But the fact that some are in and some are not, I have a hard time believing someone had the numbers that he had based on his background, without there being something there. I hold it against him a little bit.
yeah,
And
but
don't get me wrong. I owned him all the time in fantasy. He did lots of wonderful things for me in fantasy.
but in fuck, marry, kill. We don't care about steroids.
No, this is personal preference. We don't. I mean, who was the last person in real life you fucked based on statistics?
Exactly. Now I'm going to go a different route. I do, and again, this is technically the way I kind of was thinking. This was for a season. I just think I could come up Buster Posey and again, I did no statistics. I just in my mind picture a full season of Buster Posey being a much better fantasy asset than the other two. So in my mind, I would marry Buster Posey. So it really came down to fucking kill because to me, Piazza and Bench were both home run and RBI kind of guys.
I mean, Bench is a much better defensive player.
He's a better defensive catcher.
Fantasy defense doesn't help you a whole lot. I mean, so I don't know. I'm gonna fuck the Bench and I'm gonna kill the pizza or the Piazza. So I just think Buster Posey all around. Buster Posey even stole a base here or there. Johnny Bench and Mike Piazza, if they stole a base, it was just because no one was covering the bag. So
True.
I'm just kind of going that way for fantasy. Now, if it's just baseball in general, I'm probably going to go with you guys. I would marry Johnny Bench. I would F Piazza and I would kill Buster. But I think for fantasy purpose, I think we could find that Buster Posey would have had at least one better year than either of those would have had. But that's just my opinion. Who's first now? Doug?
Sure.
Dennis Eckerly. Goose Gossage.
Yeah, we're killing actually already.
Lee Smith.
Wow, that's tough. I think that, and I know I'm in the vast minority because I don't really look at the same as being the all-time.
Lee Smith.
But I think that Goose Gossage is the second best relief pitcher of all time, and the first best is not on that list. And so I'm gonna marry Gossage, and I'm gonna fuck Lee Smith. But Eckersley was like, I mean, I watched it personally. He got traded away from the Cubs. He was a okay starting pitcher who excelled when Tony La Russa changed the game of baseball in a way that I'm not sure is for the better. He created the closer role. Goose Gossage would throw 3 innings. Goose Gossage would come in with a runner on second base.
He was more than a closer. He was an ender. He came in the 7th or 8th and ended the game.
And back in those days, they called him firemen. That's what
I know.
You
Right.
put out the fire and you finish the game out. And Goose Gossage is 80 times the man Eckersley ever was.
Right.
And he's twice the man that anybody who's just a closer ever was.
And you said it. I did not put the best closer of all time on there.
Bruce Sutter.
Because okay,
No,
now
Bruce Sutter was the best closer.
okay.
Sutter and Gossage really had the most 0-run innings out of anybody ever in the game.
No, I'm pretty sure that the Yankee that just made it to the Hall of Fame this
Doing
year.
his little 1-run chop, whatever.
All right.
I could have saved 400 games for the Yankees.
Before we go to Cha-Cha, would you, if are you answering that based on career, or if I just said one season, meaning narrow that down to one season? Because I personally believe Lee Smith for one season was.
No,
if I knew, I would watch him pitch.
Of those 3 guys, the Mariano Rivera's best season was the year that he was the setup guy to Wetland. He was really awesome that year.
Yeah, that's true, actually.
And Bruce Sutter, if you look at his year back in 1976, he had like 37 saves, a
Right.
112 ERA.
And
That
people-
was the best year. That was the best year.
I did these three because I think they're closer, and they all three had something unique.
If you were doing like who had the best year, all in all, I actually think that that year that Mariano was the setup guy, because
But he's not one of these three. He's not one of these three.
sorry,
Gossage or Smith.
sorry.
Just one season. Their
It was
best
just one-
fantasy season.
Well, I mean, the highest one that it was. So we got Lee Smith and Eckersley were still killing. Matter of fact, we killed him twice.
That's from he has Eckersley was a good pitcher with the Cubs for a little while, right?
I would say that he was a starter. He was a 500-ish starter. He was a decent guy. He was was in that era. The truth is, in that era, like Rick Russell is a guy that really deserves Hall of Fame consideration. But he was like in that second category, like the Mike Krukos, the Bill Bonhams, and the Dennis Eckersleys. He was an okay.
Do you mean to tell me, Douglas, that I took my Rick Russell rookie card yesterday and I threw it in a box of commons and I shouldn't have done that?
They're right now, outside of the steroid guys, right?
Doug, I need a yes or no answer.
I'm telling you, I
got the box over here.
You made a mistake. This is the true statistic. I'm giving you a real statistic. Outside of the steroid guys like Clemens and Bonds, who really should be in the Hall of Fame, you know how they like push to get Jack Morrison Hall of Fame? It was based on wins above replacement player. There is no player who isn't steroids tainted that's left to be put in Hall of Fame with a higher WAR over his lifetime than Rick Russell. That's the truth.
That's gonna survive Rick Russell coming out of my common box. He'll come back out.
No, when you look at the guy, he's not exactly an athlete, but his numbers show that he put in good games day in, day out for a long time for two different teams.
You've convinced me. He will be in a plastic. He will be in a plastic card saver.
He's earned the plastic.
No,
card saver.
The truth is, I mean, like the Saber guys work their ass off to get Blyleven in the Hall of Fame. They work their ass off to get Tim Raines in the Hall of Fame. The next guy they're going to work on is Rick Russell. Unfortunately,
Doug, look at this, Doug. It's green.
It's green.
The top load card holder from BCW tomorrow. Rick Russell is now worth something. He's going in my green top holders.
I love it,
Doug.
See, we accomplished something tonight.
No, it's true. His wins above replacement as a pitcher was above a lot of players that you would be so shocked that it was a thing. But he's the best guy not in the Hall of Fame who's retired as a pitcher.
All right, Cha F.
All right, let's get back to fucking people.
Eckersley, Gossage, Smith, F. Mary, kill.
F. Dennis Eckersley.
Yeah.
Marry Goose Gossage. And kill Lee Smith.
All right. That's close. Now, here's when I went into a little thought process on these things. See, career-wise, Dennis Eckersley, I can't even say his name.
Eck. Right.
The Eck. What I liked about him, and the reason, each one of these guys, I put something different. He was a starter, and in my mind, one of the first starters that really did. He had to become a closer, and then he made a closer his thing, meaning he doesn't get in the Hall of Fame if he's not a closer. I mean, so for his full career, he did something above average, lost it, and then came back greater, and then became a Hall of Famer. I think that is just hard to beat. There's not a lot of people do that in any sport. Goose, I agree with Doug. Goose took a spot that wasn't even there yet, a closer, and he did. He would go 2 or 3 innings. And to me, he was the start of what a closer was going to become. And then I feel in my mind, Lee Smith, I know there's a lot of people, but Lee Smith was one of those first where I remember going, his job is to come in and get 3 people out and call. I mean, he was, in my opinion, I could be wrong because I think it's how you watch things growing up. But Lee Smith to me was one of the first closers, meaning, he for a few years he came in and you knew the game was over. So that being said, for a single season, I would go Lee Smith. I would marry. I would want Gossage. to fuck, because I would just want that 1 week where he's going to give me a bunch of innings, a lot of strikeouts, and then I would kill Eckersley. But as a career, I'd almost do the opposite, because Eckersley did a lot more from a starter all the way to a closer. And then I would still F Gossage, and at that case, then I would kill Lee Smith because he didn't have a longevity. But I think all three of those brought something unique to that closer / fireman role. So
now Doug probably would know this. Goose Gossage did not start his career as a relief pitcher. He was the starter.
He was a starter, but
actually he was.
Very long.
No, right.
Yeah, if I'm correct, he went from the White Sox to the Pirates, and then he went to the Yankees. I think he became a free agent after the Pirates.
He was in Oakland A at first. He was in Oakland A before he went to the Yankees.
He was with a lot of teams, actually.
I think
he was
he
the Cubs
was
for a
first.
year.
He was a White Sox.
Yeah, but
then he was traded to the Pirates.
The White Sox
free
Pirate.
agent as a Pirate. The Yankees signed him, and then his career was everywhere. He was all over the place.
Then he went from the Pirates to the Yankees. Then he was there for a while. He went to the Padres for a few years, 4 years.
Yes,
Cubs
he's still
for
good with
one.
the Padres for a couple of years.
Cubs for 1, San Francisco Giants for 1, back to the Yankees for half a year. Then he played with Texas, Oakland for 2 years, and Seattle. Wow, it's a lot of teams.
Yeah, a lot of
I
teams.
want to say this. I quoted a statistic about Paul Russell, and I was wrong by 0.1.
Remember Paul Russell is Rick Russell's brother.
Rick Russell. Of the guys, of the pitchers,
But there was a Paul
that are not
Russell.
that are not in the Hall of Fame. At number 32, at 68.2 wins plus replacement is Kevin Brown. Rick Russell's at 68.1. But they're ahead of guys like Jim Palmer, John Smoltz, Bob Feller, Roy Halladay. Guys.
Wow.
Great
pitchers that we all know were definitely great, but obviously this guy gets a kick in the ass.
Well,
okay.
He played for horrible Cubs teams, and he actually
Like
kind of
no
got
Pappas.
but he was actually a good pitcher. He was it's hard to compare him to somebody in the pros, but there are guys like that you look at and go, like David Wells was a really good pitcher, even though he didn't have the body of an athlete, because Rick Russell's nickname was the Thirsty Whale.
All right, Cha-Cha.
Yes, sir.
F, marry, kill. Sugar cookie, oatmeal cookie, chocolate chip cookie.
Oh, well, I'm marrying chocolate chip, that's for sure.
All right.
I'm going to marry and fuck chocolate chip.
Marry. Oatmeal or sugar cookie? F that sugar cookie and kill the oatmeal.
All right, Doug.
I'm marrying the chocolate chip cookie, and I guess I have to fuck the oatmeal. Leaving that lousy sugar cookie out for dead.
Hold on.
Earmuffs, kids. Adults only.
I
like it.
I told you I went to play this tournament trivia, and they have a bar and lounge set there, and it's all set for poker players, so everything is like quick grab and eat food. So in the desserts, they actually had for $4 I could get 2 cookies and milk. So I actually had that at a restaurant. How come they don't serve that more at restaurants? They were 2 really nice big
milk. Now,
really nice big
here's where I'm going to throw this all off. I mean, I'm going to throw it off because, and my family knows, my family are bakers and they make them for me. My favorite cookie is a chocolate chip without the chips. So I'm just saying. Now people will go, isn't that a sugar cookie? No, it's not as sweet. It doesn't have it isn't as sweet and it doesn't have the sugar on top. I'm just not a fan of the chocolate in my cookie. I prefer a chocolate chip without the chips.
There is something to be said. People can screw up a chocolate cookie by putting too much chocolate chips in there.
I agree.
It's got to have this right ratio, and more is not better. More is worse.
And I just came home the other night, and my daughter had there was a plate of chocolate chip cookies, and then there was a plate of 5 cookies with no chocolate chips in them, where she, makes them just for dad. So, that being said, though, I am going to marry the sugar, fuck the oatmeal, and I'm just gonna fuck the chocolate chip. So there we go. All right.
Did he just F?
He fucked all the cookies.
He just F'd everything.
F them all. All right. Whoever's first. Doug, Ricky Henderson, Lou Brock, Tim Raines.
Wow.
Did I do some homework here, Cha Cha? I tried to make it.
Good job. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, these are also. I mean, I'm going to kill Lou Brock because because
that's hard.
he's a little bit before my time. I caught the end of his career, whereas Reigns and Henderson were important players to me while I was playing baseball and watching baseball, and especially in my formative years. I'm gonna marry Ricky. Ricky's gonna marry me.
So what are you gonna do to Tim Raines?
I'm going to make sweet love to him.
sweet love to Tim Raines.
I want to see that. That should be live on YouTube. That's the way we can bring people over
YouTube
here.
Premium.
That's what we could get people to this chat room.
Right. I'm thinking this is a new game. I like this so far. What about you, Cha Cha? F, Mary, kill Ricky Henderson, Lou Brock, Tim Raines.
I'm gonna have to fuck the Rock, kill Lou Brock, and marry Ricky Henderson.
Man, guys, I can't do this. I'm marrying Lou Brock. I think Lou Brock was the most consistent over a career than the three of them. Lou Brock did everything, stolen bases a little bit. Not that Ricky Henderson did power. The problem with Ricky Henderson is he was fucking loony a little bit. Tim Raines had more power than both of them. I almost would say for a few years, Tim Raines was probably.
Wait a minute. Back up a second there. Bro.
What?
Tim Raines didn't have more power than Ricky Henderson.
Ricky Henderson hit a few home runs to start a couple of games. That's all we ever remember.
Ricky hit a lot of home runs.
Ricky Henderson
played a lot of
power,
years.
Man.
Unfortunately, you're right. I don't think we can compare total home runs because I'm sure Ricky Henderson played 50 more years than Tim Raines.
Yeah, it's Raines played 15 years.
Tim Raines is home.
Oh, Tim Raines played 23 years.
Okay, Tim Raines. What's Tim Raines' top year for home runs?
Top year 18.
17, top.
Ricky Henderson might have more than
Ricky hit like 25 home runs.
He hit it.
All right. I missed that one. Then I just in my mind had Tim Raines' more power.
You were also wrong about Lee Smith. Lee Smith pitched a lot of 2-inning games. It wasn't until late in his career.
Well,
he used to get like 67 games in, pitch 110 innings.
I know. I did it because I didn't mean it that way. But what I'm saying is, Lee Smith though was the first guy they brought in to close the game.
Yeah,
maybe not. Just in my mind, I even said it that way, Doug. In my mind, when I was a young person, I just remember thinking, man, when he comes in, the game's over. You know.
Here in 1986, Ricky Henderson had 28 home runs in 87.
All right. Then I'm gonna marry Ricky Henderson. I'm fucking Lou Brock, and I'm killing me some Tim Raines.
Let's see what Lou Brock has done.
Lou Brock is all three of them are you know what? Is Tim Raines not in the Hall of Fame now that I think about it?
Didn't Raines just get in? He just got
in.
He was the guy the Sabre guys worked on after they went on Morris.
Tim Raines in my mind, though, and again, I'm sure it's just what you watch. Ricky Henderson played a lot of West Coast, and obviously being a Reds fan, I saw a lot more of Brock and Raines. But I just remember Tim Raines for a couple of years just going, my mind, I thought, man, he's maybe the best player in baseball this year. But I didn't realize he didn't hit that many home runs.
I'm looking at Brock's records, and like his numbers are really good. But like I saw him like 73, 74, 75, and 74 is year he set that's like the start. Like I'm 4 or 5 years old.
All right.
He had 118 stolen bases, but at that time he's hitting like 5-6 home runs.
All right.
I seen him all since I'm the oldest.
I'm gonna marry Ricky. I'll marry Ricky.
Ricky's the best.
All right. Cha Cha, you're first.
Yeah. I just did it. What do you want me to do?
Bob Uecker?
Oh, Uecker.
Harry Carey? Or Joe Garagiola?
Oh. Wow. I'm going to marry you. I'm marrying Uecker. I'm going to marry Uecker. I know. Well, this is Doug's man, Harry Carey. Harry Carey.
Voice of the Cardinals.
And that's right. Harry Carey. I won't kill him or I'll fuck him. Okay. And then I'll kill Garagiola.
Hey, don't fuck me. No, I actually don't like Harry Carey. I think like to me, Brickhouse is the voice of the Cubs. I think that Harry Carey did something awful to the city of Chicago. Like the city of Chicago was one of the things that we could be proud of in Chicago is that we were like the last major city that didn't drink Budweiser. We drank Old Style, a local brewery. We liked our own beer. Stupid Harry Carey comes in, turns the city into a bud town. Screw that shit. But he was also the voice of the Cardinals.
I'm sorry about that.
No, it's just kind of like we knew what beer was. And then
I thought every Cubs fan was like the Harry Carey.
He was the voice of the Cardinals. And then when he came to Chicago, he actually was the voice of the White Sox before the Cubs.
Right.
And it's like, but Jack Brickhouse was the guy. If you're a Cubs fan, Jack Brickhouse was just this. I think honestly, I would have probably killed myself sometime already in my life if Jack Brickhouse hadn't been so optimistic for all those years as a Cub fan. And I actually resent the fact that Carey gets all the thing and all that Brickhouse gets is hey
Doug, can you F, marry, and kill them for me?
I'm just figuring out different ways of killing Harry Carey. I want to rip out his still beating heart. Unfortunately,
can you not kill him, Harry
Carey, and then fuck him, and then kill him again?
Okay.
I don't have much opinion on Gary Jola. I don't. So I'm gonna marry Euchre.
All right.
And by default, I'm gonna fuck Gary Jola.
I think here's what I like about these three. They're all three entertaining in different ways. They all three, in my opinion, didn't take their job super serious like some announcers do. But I believe out of the three, Joe Gargiola, I think, was somewhat the best overall announcer of the group, professional wise and all that. But he was a little less entertaining than Euchre and Carey. So I think I'm going to go similar. I think I'm going to marry Bob Euchre because he just seems like he'd be great to be with the rest of your life. I think, though, if I only have one announcer cherry to pop, I think I'm going to go with Joe because I think he's the best. So I'm also going to commit Harry Carey with Harry Carey. So, but I just think if I had to listen to one Game 7 World Series, and I'll ask that question to each of you. Those are your three announcers. You have a Game 7 World Series. Which of those three would you want to announce the game?
Yeah, I mean, the truth is, I don't think of Carey as being a good announcer.
He's an entertaining one.
Really good at filling time, but it would be fun to see him actually. I don't think he ever called an important game, did he?
Who? Euchre?
Yeah.
No.
Well, if you remember back in the day, I remember now, Chacha, tell me unless I'm wrong, because you're right. I do drink during the show. I remember in the day when the World Series, because in the 74, the Reds, you could watch and again, this is radio though, maybe I'm getting confused. There used to be a Major League Baseball announcer, but then you could also watch the Reds announcers. They did away with that eventually, because I remember I could listen to Marty Brenneman, or you could listen to, could have been Joe Gargiola. My dad was always picked. We always would listen to the Reds announcers when the Reds were in the World Series.
You still have like the radio is all local. And the truth is they have local announcers
I'm pretty sure originally at some point in my life, I thought TV also, meaning your local, like around here when I was a kid, Channel 7 had the Reds. Now it's not like today where it was on all the time, but
I can't remember.
Like Thursday night, the Reds would be on Channel 7. So when the Reds were in the World Series, Channel 7 also had their games that I recall. I could be wrong, but
there could have been at some point. I don't remember it. Like I said, I started watching baseball when I was 4. I wasn't paying attention to that sort of thing when I was 10.
See, I think Joe Gargiola actually called multiple World Series games. I mean, he was one of the main announcers for a network for a while.
But he was a tag team. It was him and Tony Kubek.
Correct. Right.
Yeah, they were always together, and they did the World Series.
Right. So, and I think about what I was thinking, he called the Reds.
But Tony was a straight guy. Joe was the color guy.
Yeah. All right.
He was the funny guy.
Entertaining. So
entertaining.
All right. I got one more, and we'll move on, even though we've killed a hell of a lot more time than this than I thought.
11:30.
Yeah, we're getting there. Right. I really thought this would go quick, but it's been kind of fun. Again,
what time are you getting off? 11:30?
We get off, but no, Doug
he always comes on and says, I only got Doug here. I'll be lucky to go 30 minutes.
We're not allowed to go past 12 o'clock. All right.
I got 4% left, so I won't even make it.
Here's a little unique F, marry, kill. Bonds, Bobby, Griffey, Ken Sr., Guerrero, Vlad Sr. So This is a
That's a
father
good one.
here. You got Bobby Bonds, Ken Griffey Sr., or Vlad Guerrero Sr. F, marry, kill. And here's the important part. If you kill them, they're not going to have their sons anymore because they obviously weren't alive to have a child. So keep that in mind.
Tough.
So you're bringing along a sibling to a point. See, Doug, this is a scientific history kind of, time twister.
Yeah, I can't milk him before he gets killed.
No,
and then impregnate your mom later.
no milk.
Wow.
Barry Bonds or Bobby Bonds, Ken Griffey Sr., Vlad Guerrero Sr., and remember, they're bringing their seed with them.
This is brutal. I guess I'm gonna marry Guerrero. Wow. I'm gonna kill Griffey, and I'm gonna fuck Bobby Bonds.
I just love that we have to say that. Hold on.
Earmuffs, kids. Adults only. Just the way I like it.
All right. I'll get Doug's answer first, and I kind of want to know how you.
I feel bad, creating a world where Ken Griffey Jr. never existed. But hey,
right. I get that.
The only guy that didn't do
I
steroids.
got to kill one of them. I mean, there's no doubt that on the playing side that Bobby Bonds is the guy that has like the most like super big moments and not a real great longevity compared to Vlad Guerrero. So Mary Guerrero, yeah, that's but it's like if I look at the other side, like I have to kill Barry Bonds, I have to kill Vlad Guerrero Jr., and I have to clear Griffey. You can almost kill Vlad Guerrero Jr. because he hasn't done enough yet, but there's a future there. So I'm gonna just kill Griffey because that'll make the Cincinnati Reds worse, and it'll make easy childhood a little bit less happy.
What? Well, the key here though is what makes this question a little difficult is obviously Bobby and Barry. Okay, to me, if we look at the three dads, I feel Bobby Bonds was a great player for a long time, but Vlad Guerrero, to me, for a couple of years, might have been the best player in baseball for a few years. Ken Griffey Jr. just happened to be on a great team and was an average player.
Yeah, complimentary player.
At the same time, if you add, let's say if we just go that way, then I would probably marry Vlad. I would probably kill Griffey Sr., and then I would F Bobby Bonds.
Exactly what we did.
Okay, but that's only if we're not counting their children. Obviously, if we're going, including the fact that the world will not exist in the future if we kill them, I could not kill Ken Griffey Sr. at that point. I would have to kill Bobby Bonds because then we won't have Barry, who then had the steroid issue, who's not even a Hall of Famer. So I would.
Yeah, and it was a completely. Barry Bonds was the only guy on steroids,
and then I would Vlad Guerrero. So
I will say thank you, and I will say good night because I have 1% left on my iPhone. I'm not going back to my laptop.
Well, we're going to finish on that anyway. That was my last F, Marry, Quill question, and that was our first F, Marry, Kill segment.
That was very good.
My Cubs are getting killed 10-1, Colorado.
So I had a good time. Cha-Cha, I appreciate you coming on. I didn't expect you to come on because I thought you were going to see the ball game tonight.
No, that's why this afternoon I wasn't doing a podcast.
All right, that's okay. I know, man. You start all kinds of shit today in the chat room this morning. Thanks.
About time.
Amen. All right.
Amen. Somebody got to say something.
Hey, thanks for coming on. I appreciate it.
All right. Good night, fellas.
Today was fun.
And hey,
good seeing you.
Good luck the rest of the week. I'm cheering for you.
Oh, best of luck to you, pal.
Bye,
all
John.
my love, right here from the heart.
Bye.
Take care of this guy. Take care of this guy.
All right. So
that's it.
See you, Cha-Cha. See you in the morning. All right. So, Doug, I think that worked out. Actually, I spent more time coming up with the three names than I thought I would. I actually did a little research and tried to make it it was too easy just to pick the three best catchers or the three. I mean, I tried to make it to where, there was a little bit of a twist here and there.
On my show, we did two practice runs before we recorded anything back in December, where we sat at a table in a restaurant and just kind of talked through things, and not trying to burn up anything. It was like a good conversation. We tried to talk about questions we'd never ask. And so I asked a question at the same time, which fell into this category because I'm a fan of like gory movies. I like the vicarious thrill of things dying.
Right.
And
right.
so
Who is it?
What?
Who was it? You pop shooter, you?
So the question was, and I really like the TV series version of The Purge. And so the question was, if they did put The Purge next week, for something, who do you go out from sports and kill? And they didn't like the way that played out as a question, but it falls in the same kind of
right. No, right. F Mary kill is much.
Just the killing part. Like, is that really dark? It's like, yeah.
Right. See, I think if you're effing and marrying people, killing just fits in fine. As long as you have.
If you're just killing, but the correct answer, and I don't mean that. I mean, I'm a Cub fan, right? And at the end, I'm like, well, the reason. I mean, I would kill Steve Bartman, not because he did anything really that bad, but if I had the legally acquired severed head of Steve Bartman, I could sell it for like $2 million on eBay. It would be the ultimate Chicago Cub souvenir. The legally acquired severed head of Steve Bartman. Now, I don't wish him death or anything like that.
Yes, you did.
But no, it's only because there's nothing you could do in baseball that could be worth more than that.
If you're a Cub,
going into a bar somewhere and there's like a mounted thing there with Steve Bartman's head, like that's a Cubs bar. That's a Cubs bar.
I don't know. I mean, my problem is, and I've watched the specials on that. And
no, I don't really have it. I don't really have it in for the guy. You're
never going to convince me he didn't do what. And the reason I say is people all around him were also reaching for the ball. I mean, the ball just was hitting a spot where he was the only one capable of catching it or trying. And that's my point. I think
there's a lot of apology for it. I think it was pretty clear that he wasn't paying enough attention.
Well, he was listening to the game, and I remember that. I mean, I used to go to the game with my grandfather. Always had a radio in his ear.
I used to bring a radio too, but you still watch the game.
Well,
that's the thing. It's like I mean, literally, he was doing what we get ticked off now when I take the kids to the game. And like they're playing on their cell phone, Angry Birds or Fortnite or whatever.
Right. Waiting for that. Like, I am funnel.
You have an opportunity sitting at this spot to do something that literally 50,000 people that are 20 feet outside the door would love to be in that spot. And your choice is to listen to this on the radio, which you can do in your basement home. Like that's the only spot where I really fault him, is that he should have been paying attention. If he was paying attention, it may not have happened.
I disagree. If he was paying, everyone reaches out for a foul ball. I don't think when you think you have a chance to catch a foul ball, which personally I still think is a stupid thing. Who gives a shit? It's an $8 ball. You can buy it in any store at any stadium. You can walk in and buy a baseball. So I think it's even stupid. That being said, everyone reaches for the ball if they think they can catch it. And the last thing they're thinking about is, could a player catch it also? I just don't think fans are thinking that.
Yeah, I would be. It's like if you were sitting in the front row.
Oh, you say that, but you've not been in the situation, so you don't know.
Yeah, only that guy. Only that guy. I mean, like the only two guys we know have been in a situation were Bartman and Jeffrey Meyer. Jeffrey Meyer pulls in a home run and they give it to because it's the Yankees. Like, yeah, of course those players can reach over and pull in home runs. Like that's the luck of the draw thing.
You're naming games that are important. It happens in games all the time. In ESPN, almost every night.
No, you do see those things where a guy hits like a ground ball.
They show one clip where a fan reaches over a foul ball. I mean, fans for some reason feel they deserve that $8 ball. And if they have
now that you say that, I've seen that where a guy hits a ball. And the guy thinks it's a foul ball, but they reach over and they grab it, and then all of a sudden it's ground rule double. Yeah, I've seen that more than you would think.
Right, it just happens. All right,
I just think that guy should have been willing every out into being. And my
point is, baseball could fix it by the first row of seats all the way around the stadium could be empty. Now they
would help out with the kids getting hit in the head with the ball being hit.
Well, I understand that too. I go to a lot of Dayton Dragons games, and that's a stadium where you're very close, and they hit balls hard too. They have extended the net a little farther than it was originally. I have seen more. I bet I've seen 5 people carried out of that place with blood coming off their, somewhere where they've gotten whacked. But, pay attention.
Well, that's really the big thing. Like,
You take
if you're going to sit in the
game.
third row or two of any game, you need to pay attention to the game.
Do you take a glove to the ball game as an adult?
You know, I did for a long, long time until I literally had a realization around age 25 that I've never ever caught a ball.
You woke up one morning and went, "I'm 25. I should leave my glove at home."
It wasn't that I said I should leave it because I'm too old. It was because I've been to all these games and I'd never gotten a ball in my life.
I know.
The only balls I've ever gotten in a game were like, do you remember, like, you ever watch like an old Cubs game and you'd see like someone hit a home run and there'd be kids like scrambling for it?
Right.
As a kid, I got like 4 balls that way. Right. The only time I ever was at a game where I got a ball, and I always like to tell a story because I've probably been to like 1,200 games and I never caught a ball, and I probably brought my glove to 600 of those games and never caught a ball. But I went to the UCF spring game back a long time ago when they were still Division II, and Dante Culpepper was the quarterback, whatever. And I went to get a beer. Like this is the Black Gold game. They're just playing each other, right?
I know, right?
And
I understood.
The Citrus Bowl is a butts next to Tinker Field where the Twins played, and Ozzie Canseco hit a home run that literally like felt like bounced once and hit me in the chest. The only time I ever caught a baseball was at a football game.
That sounds more like the ball caught you.
Yeah, it was like, oh, I just have to be in the right spot.
Right.
I got this on one mount. It's like, and so I actually got it signed by Dante Culpepper.
Well, that's kind of cool.
I wish you would have done more.
All right. Well, Doug, we're going to wrap it up early. I think we've done enough. We obviously, the F, Mary, Kill thing went a lot longer than I thought.
I will give you, the last few weeks you've been a little bit down. It's good to have the old Easy back. Right.
I mean, not that, like I said, I'm busy at work now, but most of my family's still going through some things, and we still got a way to go with some elderly parent now and stuff like that. But we're almost on back to normal. So that's true. And I had a little time to actually prepare. It always helps to, I'll pretend like I don't do anything before we come on, but I try to do a little bit. And the F, Mary, Kill thing, actually, I started doing this. And again, it just, kind of, and I could have done even more. And then I stopped and I thought, there's no way we'll do the 10 of these that I wrote down, but it was kind of fun.
I want to point out one thing. Have you looked at the, on our new backbone is Spreaker. Have you looked at like the demographics on that?
No.
I just like to know that like literally none of our shows are listened to by anybody who is female, nor are they listened to by anybody who is under the age of 45.
Right.
Most shows.
Wait a minute. Beth is on and she's female. We have her once in a while.
I know that it's but so we just it's a running joke for a little while on the dugout on Saturdays. Like we got to please the 55-year-old dudes. That's all we got.
Right. So F, Mary, and Kill that definitely pulls into.
I actually said to them, I go, look, I know people that are listening to our show, so I actually wrote them a note.
So I am my demographic. 57-year-old man. I am my own demographic.
But Spreaker is they have like they what they wrote back email was that they take privacy very, very, very strictly or whatever seriously, and so they only take demographic information from people who have signed into those services, right? So if you download from Apple iTunes, as a guest, they don't take anything from you, even though they could have it because they feel like that would be it.
The women to us are more private than the men.
That's what I gotta think. Otherwise, it's all old guys on the show. And the truth is, I mean, like the only show that has anybody that's under 55 is Lenny's show himself. His show has 45 to 55 guys and 55 and older guys.
All right, so older dudes are us should be the name of the show.
Yeah, it's like we're old dudes, so we can do those. We can talk about Lou Brock,
right? Well, and I debated that, and I was gonna come. And again, I didn't know who would be on, but I thought of doing some more modern names. And again, maybe we'll do this down the road again.
The one thing I was going to talk about last week was because the draft was on. Did we not do the show last week, or something weird happened?
We did the show last week.
Well, me, you,
and Kevin. Kevin was here from Hawaii.
Oh, yeah, Kevin was talking. So we went a different direction. It wasn't like we're just eating time.
Right.
I was going to bring up one of the interesting things about the Major League Draft is always seeing like
That was the big thing. Me and you actually talked more than Kevin because we argued about the draft for an hour.
I think it's interesting to see like players used to love kids getting drafted.
Right.
And I was going to talk about that. Like Don Kessinger's grandson got drafted, and Carlos Beltran's nephew got drafted. Those kind of things.
Yeah, which means
Doc Halliday's son got drafted.
You're right. I mean,
no, but it gives you that moment to reminisce about. Oh, I loved seeing Beltran play. I loved seeing Halliday pitch.
But I don't. That's the thing. I don't.
You don't?
That's all right. No.
The whole fuck Mary Kill was about like. I mean, like what about Carew?
I guess if Ken Griffey Jr.'s kid would have got drafted, which I don't even if he has
Junior.
I don't even right if Junior drafted. Even that I'd go, okay, that's kind of neat. But it wouldn't fascinate me like I wouldn't. Now, would it the day he played his first game and there was a little hype? Maybe. But again, I don't just being, Pete Rose's kid got drafted.
You don't find it interesting that like Vlad Guerrero Jr. is Vlad Guerrero's kid, and they got Kevin Biggio and Daniel Pizak is pitching for the Indians. Like it's a little something you kind of know them.
I mean, we had that discussion early on when we talked about families because I think, not the Bells. Well, who am I thinking? The manager for the Yankees, the Boones, the Boone family is pretty big. And if I'm not mistaken, one of them, I can't think now, the Bell or the Boone, one of them has the 4th generation kid that should have got drafted this year. He played for like not Vanderbilt. I'm trying to think who he played for, Rice or one of those. But he's only like a sophomore, and I think I
didn't see him in my notes. Maybe because he's a sophomore, he wasn't like.
I think he was one that he had a shot at being drafted, but he was also just like a sophomore. If I'm not mistaken, I might be off a little bit, but one of those two families is going to be the first one if the kid makes it to the pros to have a fourth generation. Which is kind of unique. I mean,
I think those are interesting. But what's interesting isn't that they're going to become great players. It's that moment that we get to sort of reminisce about. Oh, that was fun when Kessinger played short for the Cubs, and that was cool when. And Carlos Beltran was a great ball player, unsung great player.
Because it's hard. I mean, I've seen a lot of people play pro baseball and their kids never play. Pete Rose's kids sucked. I mean, and some of them just don't play at all because they're not interested. I mean, and the problem is. Baseball is one of those, if you're not good at it, it doesn't matter. You can want to play all you want, but if you're not any good at it, it's, you just may not be good. It doesn't matter who your dad was, so.
I've made no bones of the fact that I went to UCF, and UCF had this, one of the great coups that they had sports-wise before, the football thing, was they landed, both of Michael Jordan's kids went to UCF and played basketball for us. Now, there were no Michael Jordan, mind you.
Right.
But it was still... It was fun to go to a game when Michael Jordan was sitting in the stands.
Well, sure. I mean, that's a big deal right now with, LeBron James's kid playing 8th grade basketball or something was on ESPN a couple nights, that kind of thing. I'm like,
they're going to draft him right out of grammar school.
I know. That's kind of things I just don't buy in. So maybe it's me.
I'm talking about the tangible thing. The tangible thing was I went to a game where I sat 25 feet from Michael Jordan. That was a tangible thing that was a thrill. It wasn't how they played. You know what I mean?
All right.
Anyway.
I sat 10 feet once from Michael Jordan when he was on TV. I'm just saying. I did sit there and watch. Hey, I had a blast. I think tonight was fun. Glad to get back up on the horse and ride that sucker.
And I traditionally bring up a topic when we're just about to walk out the door. That's what
right.
I do.
It
wouldn't be Tuesday without that.
Wouldn't be, but tonight it will be. Like I said, we didn't have. I don't know. Maybe it worked out that we only had 3 people, and I did F, Marry, Kill. Maybe if there were 6 people in the chat room.
Well, there is something that I would say that there back in the days when, and it's hard to remember when there were like 8, 9 people. When you had like one question and you tried to get everyone to answer it. Like that question would take 25 minutes.
Yeah, I know. And actually, there was it depended on the question that actually made it nicer for the show. But then other times, I'm sure other people by the time we got to the 9th person would go, I don't care what he thinks because I've already,
There are 3 names and there's what?
Yeah.
We're going to make 6 permutations.
Yeah.
They've all been taken. Who cares?
Right. I don't know. All right. I have a chocolate chip cookie without a chocolate chip waiting for me.
That sounds good.
milk. And
Hey,
is
if
there
you're
hockey
listening,
on tonight? Was there something on tonight that we should have been watching?
well, in Toronto, the basketball was yesterday.
Yeah. And then I know
NHL.
I'm pretty excited. The Big Ten has a high school, or the Big Ten has a baseball team in the World Series. Baseball, and I think that started tonight too. Michigan, I think, played.
That's been going on for a little bit, I think. Oh, but it was the regionals.
Right. No,
But
now the World Series. It is down to the finals. So, and I
St. Louis Blues are playing the Boston Bruins tomorrow.
oh, it's tomorrow night. Okay. All right. So we're not missing anything major, but that's okay because we're going to end anyway. 10 minutes early.
I just want to say, my dugout shows at 10 o'clock
Dug out at
on
10.
Saturday. At 12 o'clock, we have
I need to, I guess,
Blue
that's
Landers.
the problem with
Either at 10 or 11 o'clock this Thursday. I'll probably be on with Dan Gilbert at Fisticuff.
Did Dan not do a show Monday night? I logged in Monday night.
He's been going through a lot of things. Like he keeps saying, like, I'm just about done with everything.
Okay.
And then like at the last minute, like we were gonna go last Thursday, but so like at about 7 o'clock, he's like, "Hey, I forgot about this. Whatever. Can we go to 11 instead of 10?" I'm like, "All right, we go to 11. We have to have a hard out at 12:30 because I can't stay up till whatever." And then at about 8 o'clock, he's like, "Can we start it at like midnight?" I'm like, "No."
Well, all right.
You know,
I went to bed. I forget, not somewhere time between 11:30 and 12, and I never saw a show. So,
but it's he and I are supposed to be doing something. I'm really trying to figure out a way, and I've had discussions with Lou Landers to fill that hour between our two shows.
Right.
And it's nobody wants to get up 7 in the morning, so I'm trying to, like, if we can do a fisticuff show that's a good 1 hour that no one's listening to anyway because only you are staying up that night, then maybe we rebroadcast it between our shows or something. But
just have something on there
because it's a shame that people go away and then come back for Lou or vice versa.
Right.
They plug
in.
I
just have to remember to log in and listen anyway.
If you're listening to the show and you're a member of the Legend Network and you think you have the voice of radio and have the desire,
right?
Both Lou and I have committed, not publicly, but to each other, that if someone were to decide they wanted to do that show, that we would help you do it.
There you go. 11 o'clock on Saturdays, open for anybody.
It's a plum.
Podcast.
It's a plum spot.
You got to have some skill, some entertainment value.
Well, I mean, like we could show them what to do straightforward. Like I could write the outlines and show you what'll work and things like that. And we actually have ideas for what to go on.
All right.
Something in the next month, something will change there. We might do reruns. We might do
very kill hour. Maybe middle afternoon's not the best time.
Yeah, I think it's the right thing.
Right.
But like, yeah. But I know that whole thing is like we're the guys. We're the ghetto of the station. Right. We're happy to be there. We're proud for the moment. We're thankful for the opportunity. But we're still Saturday morning.
All right. Get your mind out of the gutter. All right, Doug, Saturday. Be there, 10 o'clock. I'm going to try to remember.
And we're on Google Play now. We're on iTunes now. We're on Spotify now. We're everywhere.
Everywhere where fantasy
sports. Except for SoundCloud for some reason.
Yeah, SoundCloud. All right.
We're on YouTube.
This has been EEEZ Around the Table with Easy Kill. You can find me at a fantasy fan on Twitter.
I'm Doug at Urban Baboon.
And I will be, at Urban Baboon. I got to get that in my little note when I post my Twitter thing before this show too. Sorry, Doug. I'll get that on there. But me and Chris will be here tomorrow night with our a Fantasy Fan Sportscast, where I think we're on episode 4 of what's turning into about a 96 series episode on how to come up with the perfect fantasy football league set.
I listened to your first episode of that, and I thought it was pretty interesting. And then I started thinking about it throughout the week, and I'm like, I'm amazed how many things are important to me that probably were like, boy, I am so particular.
That's what's making it hard. I mean, it's actually we thought this would be a couple shows worth, and we're up to number 4, and I don't even think we're going to get done. It's probably at least going to take 6 shows to get the perfect settings, which right now not much is going on football wise. So this might as well be what we talk about.
If you didn't do it, I wouldn't even notice it. Like, you know what I hate about this? I hate when you do like same day pickups. Because what happens
that part, but yes, some people
I hate that, because what happens is, like, you're watching the games, you're like, oh, I need a new pitcher, and you go to take the guy off, and they're like, you can't drop that player because he's playing today.
Right.
So we have to like get up at 4 a.m. to beat everyone else out. It's like, I don't want that. I don't want that out of a game. And like, and the truth is, it probably wouldn't have bothered me if you didn't bring it up as a topic. 'Cause I'm thinking about this stuff all the time.
Sorry,
It's like, who in their right mind put together this league this way?
Well,
Anyway.
that's the point. I know, and we've already talked about that. You're not going to make everyone happy anyway. That's why you might as well make it as good as you can. So
That's why you should make me happy.
there you go. That's it. The
Well,
urban.
good night. I'm gonna let you do the closing. I'll try to say nothing
And
more.
tune in tomorrow night at 10 o'clock at LennyMelnickFantasySports.com, the Legend Sports Network, and me and Chris will go over all of the league settings, and we'll have a good show tomorrow. Lenny, I think, will be back tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. Someone will be on at 9 o'clock talking baseball. So everybody, thanks for coming out. Thanks for the people in the chat room. Thanks for Cha-Cha for showing up and using up all of his battery on his iPod. And guys, I'll see you tomorrow at 10 o'clock. Doug, thanks for coming out. Say goodnight.
Good night.
This has been Just a Fantasy Fan podcast. And to keep your fantasies going, follow us at justafantasyfan.com. Say good night. Good night.
I don't like that they all ask me